Some people are born into struggle. Others are born into opportunity. Amara was born into opportunity. From the moment she opened her eyes to the world, life welcomed her gently. She did not know the meaning of hunger. She did not understand the fear of unpaid school fees. Her childhood memories were filled with wide rooms, soft beds, and the comfort of knowing that whatever she wanted could be provided. Yet, beneath the comfort was a quiet truth no one paid attention to. Amara had never been tested. She had never failed badly enough to learn discipline. She had never been denied enough to understand self-control. And because of that, she never learned how fragile success could be. People assumed she would succeed simply because she started well. But destiny does not care about starting points. It only responds to choices, and Amara was about to begin making choices that would slowly erase everything she had been given. This is not a story about poverty. This is not a story about lack. This is a story about misdirection, about how privilege, without guidance, can become a curse. Amara's father was a self-made man. He grew up with nothing but determination, no inheritance, no connections, just grit. He remembered days when he walked long distances because transport money was a luxury, nights when sleep came with hunger, years when failure stared him in the face, daring him to quit. But he did not quit. Through persistence, discipline, and sacrifice, he built a business that eventually flourished. And when success finally came, he promised himself one thing: his children would never suffer the way he did. Amara became the center of that promise. He paid for the best schools. He surrounded her with comfort. He shielded her from stress. In his heart, he believed love meant protection, and protection meant provision. What he didn't realize was this: protection without preparation creates weakness. He assumed that character would grow naturally, that discipline would appear on its own, that because Amara lived in abundance, she would automatically value responsibility. But values are not inherited through wealth. They are taught through experience. While her father was busy building empires outside, he unknowingly left a gap inside his daughter, a gap where wisdom should have lived. And when the world finally tested Amara, money would not be enough to save her. The admission letter arrived on a quiet afternoon. Amara opened it casually, expecting nothing less. When she saw her name boldly printed at the top, she smiled. Not out of surprise, but confirmation. This was how life always went for her. Her parents reacted differently. Her mother screamed in joy. Her father hugged her tightly, pride filling his eyes. Calls were made. Messages were sent. Neighbors stopped by to congratulate them. They called her sweet names and wished her well. The dreams grew bigger with every conversation. That night, Amara lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, imagining a future filled with success, admiration, and freedom. The university felt like the final proof that her life was on the right path. But no one told her the truth. University is not just a place of learning. It is a place of exposure. Exposure to freedom. Exposure to temptation. Exposure to choices. And for someone who had never learned restraint, that exposure would soon become dangerous. Campus life felt like a dream. No curfews. No parents watching. No one questioning her movements. At first, Amara was excited but responsible. She attended lectures early. She took notes neatly. She listened attentively, determined to make her parents proud. She walked across campus with confidence, believing she could balance freedom and focus. But freedom is intoxicating when you've never tasted it before. Everywhere she turned, she saw students laughing, enjoying themselves, living without restrictions. Music blasted from hostels. Parties were announced casually. Rules felt optional. And slowly, a question formed in her mind. Why am I trying so hard? That question would change everything. It started with laughter. She met them during a casual conversation outside the hostel, girls who seemed confident, bold, and fearless. They dressed well, spoke freely, and lived loudly. They admired her background. She admired their boldness. They skipped lectures without fear. They mocked seriousness. Life is short, they said. Enjoy it while you can. At first, Amara resisted. But resistance weakens when repetition continues. Slowly, their lifestyle began to look appealing. And without realizing it, Amara stopped choosing friends based on values and started choosing them based on excitement. That choice sealed her fate. Change never announces itself. It arrives quietly. One missed lecture, one skipped assignment, one late night. Then another. Soon, Amara's books gathered dust. Her grades slipped. Her priorities shifted. She wasn't failing yet, but she was drifting. And drifting is more dangerous than falling because it feels harmless. Bad friends didn't force her. They normalized distraction. And Amara let go of the steering wheel. Reality arrived with yet another set of test scores. She failed. She failed again. Lecturers had warned her before, but the warnings were ignored. Fear had replaced confidence, and anxiety had replaced motivation, instead of focusing on studying and gaining knowledge. She found herself constantly searching for ways to escape. And that's when the shortcuts appeared, taking root in her life. Desperation has a voice, and when it speaks, it doesn't shout, it whispers. Amara sat quietly in the hostel that evening, pretending to scroll through her phone while her mind raced. Exams were approaching faster than she could prepare. Every unread note felt like a ticking clock. Every missed lecture echoed loudly in her thoughts. She was scared not of failure but of shame. Shame of calling her father. Shame of explaining poor grades. Shame of admitting she had lost control. That was when Zara leaned closer and lowered her voice. I know someone, she said casually. As if she were suggesting a restaurant. He can help you. Amara looked up what kind of help, she asked, already knowing the answer. Someone to write the exam for you. Silence filled the room. Amara's heart pounded. Her conscience screamed. Everything she had been taught warned her to stand up and walk away. But fear held her down. Fear of losing everything. Fear of disappointing everyone who believed in her. Her friends surrounded her with reassurance. Everybody does it. You won't get caught. You're too rich to fail. They made crime sound normal. They made dishonesty sound smart. And slowly, painfully, Amara nodded. That nod was not just agreement. It was surrender. Exam day arrived quietly, while other students rushed to halls with books pressed against their chests. Amara stayed behind. Her phone sat heavy in her hand. Every second felt stolen. Somewhere else on campus, a stranger carried her identity. Her name, her matric number, her future. As the exam began, Amara's chest tightened. She imagined the invigilator's eyes. She imagined her father's disappointment. She imagined prison walls closing in. She tried to distract herself. Music didn't help. Social media felt empty. Food tasted like sand. Minutes passed. Then some minutes into the exam, the invigilator noticed inconsistencies. A handwriting mismatch. A face that didn't belong. One suspicion led to another. He was caught inside the exam hall and arrested. Few weeks later, she sat before the disciplinary panel, hands shaking, heart pounding. They asked questions she couldn't answer. They presented evidence she couldn't deny. Her friends were nowhere to be found. Zara didn't pick her. Calls. The verdict came without emotion. Academic fraud. Impersonation, gross misconduct. Expelled. The word echoed in her ears like a big bang. Years of privilege, years of sacrifice, all erased in seconds. Amara thought the worst was over. She was wrong. Weeks later, her body began to betray her. Morning sickness, fatigue, missed periods. Fear she could no longer ignore. The test confirmed it. Positive. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the result, unable to breathe. She called the man responsible. He didn't answer. She messaged her friends. They went silent. For the first time in her life, Amara was truly alone. No money, no school, no support, only consequences. The journey home felt longer than ever. She walked into the house that once felt safe, now heavy with disappointment. Her father sat quietly, reading nothing. He already knew. Amara tried to speak. Her voice failed. Her mother cried softly. Her father didn't shout. He didn't ask questions. He simply looked at her and looked away. That silence cut deeper than anger ever could.
Amara had everything: opportunity, support, wealth. But she lost direction. Bad friends didn't push her. They persuaded her. They didn't steal her future. They watched her give it away. This story is not about Amara alone. It's about choices. It's about influence. Choose wisely. Your future is listening. Before you go, drop a comment. Like and click the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.